This is the Cliff House, found on the rocky shores of San Francisco. You'd think this hotel, with its picture-perfect views and serene setting, would be the ideal place for a tranquil weekend break. But don't be fooled by the looks. You see, for all the beauty and grandeur the Cliff House possesses, it equally shares twisted tales of torment and tragedy. So, join me as we discover the doomed history of the Cliff House. To start our story, we've got to go all the way back to 1863. This was the year the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, the Battle of Gettysburg was fought, and when the iconic Cliff House was raised. Built by Senator John Buckley and C.C. Butler, the modest structure quickly became a Victorian tourist hotspot after the Point Lobos toll road opened in 1864. Making this a popular destination for Sunday horse and carriage riders day tripping from the hustle and bustle of San Francisco City. The Cliff House first found life as a restaurant and bar, but the prime attraction wasn't food and drink, it was the view, with windows and balconies offering wonderful wide scenes of the Pacific Ocean and sea lions basking on the rocks below. The restaurant was also the scene of other sights that only elevated its allure. In 1868, Rosa Celeste attracted 5,000 people to witness the greatest rope walking feat ever performed by a woman, as she made the 400-foot journey from Cliff House to Seal Rocks, 100 feet above the sea. The popularity of the Cliff House continued to increase, and in 1868 it was enlarged to approximately 4 times its original size, adding 2 wings that enveloped the original rectangular structure. Yet despite the Cliff House's opulent appearance, the wealthy visitors began to abandon for newer resorts that began popping up along the outskirts of San Francisco. To make up for the loss of business, the Cliff House began to court a different clientele. Before long, it became infamous for gambling and illicit behaviour. That was until 1883, when Adolphe Sutro purchased the then seedy Cliff House. Sutro left his homeland of Germany after the 1848 Prussian Rebellion and began working as a tobacco salesman in America. He made his big fortune from developing the Sutro Tunnel, a concept to drain water from silver mines in Nevada to eliminate the threat of flooding. With his wealth, he purchased the Cliff House and returned it to its former glory, remodeling rooms and hiring new management, quickly luring families back to the restaurant. All was well again with the Cliff House. On the afternoon of January 13, 1887, the 98-foot ship Parallel left Hay Wharf in San Francisco, bound for Oregon. Packed with over 40 tons of dynamite, the ship quickly ran into strong headwinds. 3 days later, the Parallel, gripped by the tide, slowly edged towards the shore and the Cliff House. In the evening of January 16th, the ship's captain abandoned ship. A few hours later, the Parallel collided with the rocky coastline, becoming wedged in the cove below the Cliff House. Shortly after, the ship exploded in a deafening blast, hurling a ball of flame and debris up the cliff. The blast was so powerful, it was mistaken for an earthquake and felt over 100 miles away. Unsurprisingly, the Cliff House was battered. The explosion destroyed the north wing and blew out every window. Doors were shaken off their hinges and each room was filled with a mound of debris. Fortunately for the damaged structure, Sutro's pockets were deep, and it didn't take long for repair work to be carried out to the Cliff House's north wing. What a ship of exploding dynamite couldn't do, a simple fire did in 1894. On the 25th of December, a kitchen fire, presumably caused by Christmas dinner cooking, quickly spread through the restaurant, turning Sutro's cherished project into nothing more than a pile of burnt debris. Somehow, Sutro wouldn't allow all the misfortune that magnetised towards the Cliff House to dampen his enthusiasm for the building. He wasted little time before announcing plans for a vast new Cliff House to be built on the same site, and in 1895 construction on the new structure was underway. Sutro's trusted architects Emile Lem and C.J. Colley advised their boss to rebuild the structure in a simple style. Not that he listened. Instead, in 1896, Sutro's opulent architectural marvel was complete. It dominated the craggy landscape, bulging over the cliff. Not long ago, tourists came here to take in the sea air and admire the view. Now, they came not for the natural beauty, but to admire the structure itself. Built in a Gothic style, it had the feel of a Germanic castle that had somehow found its way to the San Francisco shoreline. The aesthetics weren't the only thing to be upgraded though. The Cliff House, or Gingerbread Palace as it became known, was now a 7-story hotel complete with marble floors, an elevator, art galleries and 20 private dining rooms. It's fair to say this place rapidly ascended to the summit of San Francisco's sights to see. So famous had the Cliff House become, the likes of Theodore Roosevelt and Buffalo Bill came to awe at its beauty in the early years of the 20th century. In 1906, San Francisco was rocked by a 7.9 magnitude earthquake. Tragically, more than 3,000 people died and over 80% of the city was destroyed in what became the deadliest earthquake in the history of the United States. You'd expect the precarious-looking Cliff House to have quickly toppled into the Pacific, yet somehow the Gingerbread Palace didn't snap. Perhaps the Cliff House's nagging curse had ended. Not quite, because just 1 year later the grand structure was in the midst of destruction again, not due to a quake but another fire breakout. The source of the fire isn't known, but being made almost entirely out of wood, the blaze spread so quickly the building was engulfed in flames before the first fire truck even arrived. All that remained of the Gingerbread Palace were a few brick chimneys standing amongst the charred rubble. By this point, Adolf Sutro had been dead for 9 years, so the responsibility of repairs fell on his daughter. Despite its perilous past, Emma Sutro decided to rebuild the Cliff House once again. This time though, given the flammable history of the site, she elected to construct her Cliff House out of reinforced concrete. By July 1909, the latest iteration of the Cliff House was complete, built in a neoclassical style that in size and simplicity was more akin to the structure built 42 years prior. While the fear of fires now washed away, the Cliff House still couldn't break free from its damn shackles. Reportedly, the building became infamous for its plethora of ghost sightings. While the validity of these can't be confirmed or denied, they only elevate the unease around the Cliff House. The most famous of these is that of Natalie Selena, a forlorn woman who wanders the rocks below the Cliff House. The story goes that she's reportedly been waiting on the shores in vain for her fiancé to return from battle during World War I. Apparently she died from heartbreak and is said to permeate the Cliff House's air ever since. World War I took its toll on the building too. The war, along with the Great Depression, forced the Sutro family to sell the Cliff House in 1937 to the Whitney brothers, who remodelled it to an upscale roadhouse. They added a redwood exterior to the building and flashy neon signs. The Cliff House enjoyed a well-earned period of serenity after World War II. It wasn't until the 21st century, in 2003, that the site was renovated again. Many of the roadhouse-style details were removed while a new 2-storey wing was constructed, giving us the restaurant that stands today. But the Cliff House couldn't stay event-free forever. In 2020, this attraction, like many businesses, felt the financial pinch of the COVID pandemic, forcing the restaurant to shut its doors. You may presume that that would be the closing chapter in this great structure's story. Thankfully though, there's still hope for the future of this San Franciscan souvenir. In 2023, it was announced that plans were in place to reopen the Cliff House in late 2024, where it would host a restaurant, cafe, event space and retail shop. Who knows what the future will hold here in 2024 and beyond. One thing's for sure though, despite the infernos, quakes, phantoms, explosions and pandemics that have plagued this place over the years, the Cliff House will not be halted by its doomed history.